They were the dreamboats of their generation, the faces on every magazine cover, the stars of the hottest TV shows, the crushes that made teenage hearts race across America. But behind the fame, the fan mail, and those picture-perfect smiles, some carried a truth they kept hidden for years. In today's video, we're rewinding the clock to revisit the teen idols who later came out as gay, and discovering how their lives, loves, and careers have transformed since. This 2025 update, crafted especially for our senior viewers, takes you on a heartfelt journey from the spotlight of yesterday to the authentic lives they embrace today. Jaden Smith, son of Hollywood powerhouses Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, stepped into the spotlight early, stealing hearts in the 2010 remake of The Karate Kid. At just 12 years old, he displayed a rare mix of talent, charm, and maturity that hinted at a bright future. But as he grew, Jaden refused to follow the familiar script of a child star. Instead, he carved his own unpredictable path, one that blended acting, music, and a fearless commitment to self-expression. In a world where image is everything, Jaden has made it clear he won't be confined by anyone's expectations. He's redefined red carpet fashion, pairing skirts with confidence and launching a gender-neutral clothing line that challenged the rigid rules of style. Every choice, whether praised or criticized, has been a declaration that authenticity matters more than public approval. In 2018, he turned heads again, casually calling rapper Tyler, the creator, his boyfriend during a concert. Neither confirmed a romance, but the moment spoke volumes about openness, about love in all its forms, and about refusing to be boxed in by labels. Jaden has never claimed a fixed identity. Instead, he's embraced fluidity, living on his own terms in a way that resonates deeply with younger generations and challenges older ones to reconsider what they thought they knew about gender, love, and individuality. His journey isn't just a fashion statement or a celebrity headline, it's a mirror reflecting cultural change. In a time when authenticity can feel rare, Jaden stands as a reminder that being unapologetically yourself is a form of courage. Whether you understand him or not, his message is universal. Empathy matters, respect matters, and freedom to live without shame is worth everything. Colton Haynes, the strikingly handsome actor and former model, first captured America's attention with his breakout roles in Teen Wolf and Arrow. With his clean-cut charm, magnetic screen presence, and seemingly effortless charisma, he became one of Hollywood's most recognizable young stars of the early 2000s. On red carpets, he dazzled. In glossy magazines, he was flawless. To the public, it seemed like he had it all. But behind the perfect photos and the Hollywood smile, Colton was fighting a far more private battle, one rooted in identity, fear, and the relentless pressure to fit an image the industry demanded. Like so many before him, he was told to keep his sexuality hidden to protect his career and maintain his leading man appeal. And so he played the part, even off-screen, while inside, anxiety and self-doubt began to eat away at him. Years of living under that weight left him isolated. The mask he wore to please others became a prison, and his mental health suffered in silence. Then, in 2016, Colton made a decision that would change everything. He came out publicly as gay. For many, it was unexpected. For others, it was profoundly moving. In that moment, he broke through the silence that had trapped countless LGBTQ+ actors for decades, proving that authenticity could be more powerful than any scripted role. By speaking his truth, Colton didn't just free himself, he gave others the courage to do the same. He has since spoken openly about his struggles with depression and substance abuse, shedding light on the heavy toll that secrecy and fear can take on a person's soul. His candor has turned him into more than a celebrity. He's become a symbol of resilience for anyone navigating the same storm. Today, Colton Haynes continues to champion honesty, healing, and LGBTQ+ visibility. His journey reminds us that real courage doesn't come from playing a role. It comes from tearing off the mask and embracing who we are even when the world tells us not to. For older generations, his story stands as both a testament to how far society has come and a powerful lesson in the life-changing force of authenticity. Brandon Flynn burst into the public eye with his breakout role in Netflix's 13 Reasons Why, a raw, unflinching drama that tackled some of the toughest topics in modern television. His performance wasn't just memorable, it cemented him as one of the most recognizable young actors of his generation. Practically overnight, he went from rising talent to teen heartthrob, with Hollywood watching his every move. But behind the red carpets and flashing cameras was a young man determined to live with unshakable honesty, not just as an actor, but as a human being. In 2017, Flynn made headlines when he publicly came out as gay, a decision that rippled far beyond the entertainment industry. At a time when many young stars still felt pressure to keep their truth hidden, his openness stood out as an act of quiet rebellion. For fans and members of the LGBTQ+ community, it was more than a headline, it was hope. As his career soared, so did curiosity about his personal life. His relationship with British pop sensation Sam Smith became a tabloid fixture, and whispers about a rumored connection to actor Richard Madden only fueled the media frenzy. Yet Flynn remained grounded, reminding the world that while he understood the fascination, his real focus was on meaningful, impactful work, both on screen and off. In recent years, Flynn has used his growing platform to push for greater LGBTQ+ representation in film and television. Through interviews, social media, and public advocacy, he's championed stories that reflect the diverse, complex realities of the modern world. In doing so, he's aligned himself with a new wave of Hollywood talent committed to reshaping the industry with values rooted in inclusion, empathy, and truth. For older generations, Flynn's journey is a vivid reminder of just how much the entertainment landscape has evolved. Where once there was silence, now there is courage. Where secrecy once prevailed, there is now clarity and pride. Brandon Flynn's story is more than a career. It's a testament to the power of living authentically in a world that often demands conformity. And in that honesty, he has left a mark that reaches far beyond the bright lights of Hollywood. Matt Dallas first captured hearts with his breakout role as the mysterious, wide-eyed Kyle in the mid-2000s sci-fi hit Kyle XY. With his calm intensity and magnetic presence, he quickly became a standout in the television landscape. But as much as fans admired his on-screen talent, Dallas's most profound role has unfolded far from Hollywood's soundstages, within the quiet, intimate moments of his personal life. In 2015, Dallas made headlines, not for a new role, but for a deeply personal milestone. He married musician Blue Hamilton, a union that marked a meaningful step forward for LGBTQ+ representation in the public eye. Soon after, the couple welcomed their son, Crow, through adoption, building a family rooted in intention, care, and unwavering love. They didn't set out to be spokespeople for change, but by living authentically, Dallas and Hamilton became just that. Through candid interviews and glimpses into their home life on social media, they've helped dismantle outdated stereotypes about same-sex parenting. Their story is a quiet yet powerful testament to the truth that the strength of a family lies not in tradition, but in love, stability, and commitment. Over the years, the couple's openness has inspired countless others, both within the LGBTQ+ community and among allies, reminding the world that ordinary lives can make an extraordinary impact simply by being lived with honesty and integrity. For many who've witnessed decades of progress, the Dallas-Hamilton family stands as a hopeful sign of how far society has come and a reminder of the work still ahead. In an era where the very definition of family continues to evolve, Matt Dallas offers a simple, enduring truth. What matters most isn't how a family looks, but how deeply it loves. Rick Cosnett, best known for his standout roles in The Flash and The Vampire Diaries, has long been admired for his polished charm, emotional depth, and ability to bring quiet strength to every performance. His presence on screen felt effortless, measured, graceful, and deeply human. But in early 2020, Cosnett made headlines for something far more personal than any script could capture. In a short, heartfelt Instagram video, he looked straight into the camera and spoke with soft-spoken honesty. He was gay. There were no theatrics, no carefully staged moment. Just a man speaking his truth after years of carrying it quietly. That vulnerability resonated deeply, especially with older fans who had watched Hollywood's slow and often painful evolution in embracing LGBTQ+ identities. The response was overwhelming. Support poured in from friends, fans, and fellow actors, celebrating not just his courage, but the tenderness with which he shared it. In an industry where the pressure to conform can be suffocating, Cosnet's choice was more than a personal revelation. It was a quiet act of defiance against outdated norms and a lifeline to anyone still living in silence. His message struck a chord across generations. Younger audiences saw a reminder that authenticity can be life-changing, while older generations recognized the weight of his gesture, knowing all too well the cost of hiding and the freedom in being seen. Today, Rick Cosnet continues his career with intention and integrity, using his platform to champion acceptance, mental health, and compassion. He doesn't try to be a spokesperson, yet his example speaks louder than any speech. In a world obsessed with labels and boxes, Rick's story reminds us of a simple truth. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stand unapologetically as yourself. Jonathan Knight, the soft-spoken heartthrob of the 1980s sensation New Kids on the Block, once stole the hearts of millions with his smooth vocals, easy charm, and classic boy-next-door appeal. Alongside his bandmates, he helped define the soundtrack of a generation. Back when fame came wrapped in strict, unspoken rules about how a star should look, act, and, most importantly, who they could be. For years, whispers surrounded Knight's personal life, but he kept his truth close to his chest, a choice that made sense in an era when authenticity could cost you everything. Then, in 2011, a former partner publicly revealed his sexuality. In that moment, Knight could have met the intrusion with anger or withdrawn from the spotlight entirely. Instead, he chose grace. With calm sincerity, he confirmed the truth, not as a scandal, but as a quiet, dignified affirmation of who he had always been. That simple honesty became a turning point. No longer letting others tell his story, Knight reclaimed his narrative with courage that spoke volumes, especially to those who had lived through decades when being openly gay carried harsh consequences. His message was clear: authenticity is not about fanfare, it's about freedom. Today, Jonathan Knight is living proof that life on your own terms is the sweetest success. He shares a happy, grounded life with his husband, fitness trainer and actor Harley Rodriguez, and continues to inspire, not only through music, but through his unwavering openness and resilience. Away from the stage, he's found a new passion in restoring old homes, charming audiences on HGTV's Farmhouse Fixer with his love for craftsmanship and creativity. Knight's journey is more than a celebrity story, it's a reminder that truth has its own quiet power. His life stands as living proof that it's never too late to choose love over fear, and that some of the most inspiring legacies aren't built on headlines, but on the courage to simply be yourself. Lance Bass, the golden-voiced heartthrob of the 1990s pop phenomenon SNC, didn't just sing his way into the charts, he sang his way into millions of hearts. With effortless harmonies, boyish charm, and a presence that lit up every stage, he became an icon of youthful talent and pop culture magic. To fans, he was the picture of success. But behind the cameras and chart-topping hits, Lance was quietly navigating a deeply personal truth, one he kept hidden for years. In 2006, at a time when conversations about sexuality in mainstream music were still scarce and often met with resistance, Lance made a choice that would define his legacy. He came out as gay. It was more than a personal revelation, it was a cultural moment. His announcement shattered barriers, offering visibility and hope to countless LGBTQ+ individuals who had long felt invisible in the entertainment industry. Instead of stepping back from fame, Lance stepped forward with purpose. He used his platform to speak out for LGBTQ+ rights, championing acceptance, compassion, and equality. For many fans who had grown up idolizing him, this honesty deepened their admiration, transforming him from teen idol to a beacon of authenticity. In 2014, Lance married actor and visual artist Michael Turchin, becoming one of the first same-sex couples to wed legally in California after marriage equality became law. Their love story, openly shared and joyfully celebrated, became a symbol of resilience and hope far beyond the LGBTQ+ community. Beyond his personal milestones, Lance has poured his energy into causes close to his heart, advocating for mental health, supporting youth outreach, and fighting for equal rights. His journey from chart-topping star to respected advocate shows the power of growing not just in fame, but in purpose. Lance Bass's story isn't just one of pop stardom. It's a testament to courage, self-discovery, and the profound impact of living openly and unapologetically. For those who remember the NSYNC era, watching him evolve into a compassionate role model has been nothing short of inspiring. His legacy proves that when authenticity meets purpose, the result can change lives. Neil Patrick Harris isn't just a star, he's a storyteller who's lived his truth in front of the world. From the moment he stepped onto our screens as the brilliant, babyface doctor in Doogie Howser, MD, to the years he made us laugh and gasp as the endlessly clever Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother, Harris has been a constant in our living rooms and our hearts. His career, stretching across television, film, and theater, is a masterclass in versatility. But his greatest role hasn't been scripted, it's been the role of himself. In 2006, when Hollywood still whispered about what it wouldn't say aloud, Harris chose honesty over fear. He came out as gay, not with scandal but with grace. It wasn't just a headline, it was a seismic moment for representation. For countless fans who had never seen themselves reflected in someone so visible, so respected, Harris's truth was a lifeline. And he didn't stop there. He used his platform to advocate fiercely for LGBTQ+ equality, lending his voice and presence to dismantle stereotypes and champion acceptance. He reminded the world that what defines a person is not who they love, but the integrity, talent, and kindness they bring to everything they do. In 2014, he and his longtime partner, actor and chef David Burtka, sealed more than a decade of love with a wedding that was intimate, joyful, and deeply personal. Together, they've raised their twins, Gideon and Harper, in a home filled with laughter, adventure, and unapologetic affection. Their shared glimpses of family life are more than charming. They are proof that love, in all its forms, is pure and powerful. Even now, as he dazzles audiences on stage and screen, Harris never loses sight of his mission: to live authentically and use his light to guide others. His journey is one of courage, joy, and unwavering integrity. In a world still learning to celebrate difference, Neil Patrick Harris stands as a reminder of what happens when you lead with honesty and refuse, ever, to apologize for who you are. Ricky Martin, forever celebrated as the king of Latin pop, has a place in music history that few can touch. With his electrifying stage presence and timeless hits like Livin' La Vida Loca and She Bangs, he didn't just top charts, he ignited a global love affair with Latin music in the 90s and early 2000s. He wasn't only a performer, he was a cultural phenomenon, admired for his boundless energy, irresistible charm, and undeniable talent. But behind the lights, applause, and whirlwind fame, Ricky Martin carried a truth he wasn't ready to share with the world. For years, rumors swirled about his private life, especially his sexuality. The questions were constant, the curiosity relentless. Yet Ricky stayed silent. Not out of shame, but because he knew the world, and perhaps even himself, wasn't ready. The entertainment industry, even then, wasn't always kind to those who didn't fit its mold. That changed in 2010, when Ricky made the courageous choice to live his truth. In a heartfelt personal statement, later expanded upon in his memoir, he came out publicly as gay, a moment that became a turning point not only in his life, but in the lives of millions who saw themselves in his journey. With honesty and grace, he declared, "I am proud to say that I am a fortunate homosexual man. I am very blessed to be who I am." The world responded with love. Fans, fellow artists, and LGBTQ+ advocates hailed the moment as a breakthrough, especially within the Latino community, where such conversations had often been silenced. Ricky's courage opened doors for others to speak their truth without fear, proving that authenticity can be just as powerful as any song. Since then, Ricky Martin has embraced his role not just as an entertainer, but as a passionate advocate for equality, human rights, and child welfare. A devoted father of four, he uses his platform to champion compassion and justice through the Ricky Martin Foundation and beyond. Today, Ricky Martin is more than a pop icon. He's a symbol of strength, authenticity, and hope. His journey reminds us that living openly isn't just freeing for oneself, it can be a lifeline for countless others searching for the courage to do the same. Mark Feehily, the soaring voice that carried some of Westlife's most unforgettable ballads, rose to fame in the late 1990s as the heart and soul of the Irish boy band sound. With a voice drenched in emotion and a tone that could cut straight to the heart, he helped define an era, giving the world timeless hits like Flying Without Wings and You Raise Me Up. Westlife wasn't just a pop group, they were a phenomenon, their harmonies wrapping around millions of fans from Dublin to New York, especially those who craved music that felt like a warm embrace. But in 2005, at the very height of that global stardom, Fíhílí made headlines for something far more personal than a chart-topping single. He came out publicly as gay, a move that, at the time, was nearly unheard of for a young male pop star still sitting at the top of the charts. It was an act of bravery in an industry that often demanded carefully crafted images to preserve marketability. Fíhílí later revealed that he had known his truth since his teenage years but had kept it hidden, afraid it might derail his career. Instead of retreating from the spotlight, he stepped forward, owning his truth with quiet dignity. The reaction from fans was overwhelming. Love, respect, and admiration poured in, proving that authenticity doesn't diminish artistry, it deepens it. Over the years, Fíhílí has used his platform to advocate for LGBTQ+ visibility in music, urging others to live without apology. Today, as both a devoted father and a continuing member of Westlife, he remains a symbol of courage, integrity, and emotional honesty, a living reminder that the path to acceptance always begins with truth. If Mark Fíhílí's journey was a quiet revolution, George Michael's was a headline-making turning point in pop culture. The unforgettable voice of Wham! And one of the most successful solo artists in history, Michael didn't just dominate the charts, he defined the sound of the 80s and 90s. With iconic hits like Careless Whisper, Faith, and Father Figure, he fused soul, pop, and R&B into a style uniquely his own, captivating audiences across generations. For years, speculation swirled about his private life, especially his sexuality, a subject Michael chose not to address publicly. That changed in 1998, when an unexpected and highly publicized incident forced the conversation into the spotlight. Rather than shrink from the attention, Michael took control of his story, coming out as gay with unapologetic candor. It was a cultural earthquake. Few male pop superstars at the time dared to live openly. His honesty didn't end his career, it expanded his legacy. Michael became a fierce advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, HIV, AIDS awareness, and humanitarian causes, often donating large sums in secret. Many of his most generous acts only came to light after his death, revealing a man whose compassion matched his talent. George Michael's story is one of resilience, truth, and a refusal to let fame dictate authenticity, proving that the greatest legacy an artist can leave is not just the music they make, but the life they live. Marlon Brando wasn't just an actor, he was a force of nature that forever changed American cinema. With every role, from the smoldering Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire to the unforgettable Don Vito Corleone in The Godfather, Brando ripped away the artifice of old Hollywood and delivered something raw, real, and impossible to ignore. His performances didn't just entertain, they set a new standard, one that generations of actors would chase for decades to come. Audiences were mesmerized, not just by his extraordinary talent, but by that brooding charm, the magnetic presence that seemed to fill every frame. Yet off-screen, Brando was far more complex, a rebel who refused to bow to Hollywood's polished, predictable image. He lived by his own rules, spoke his mind without fear, and in doing so, often found himself at odds with the industry he helped define. In later years, Brando made headlines once again, not for a role, but for his honesty. He openly acknowledged his bisexuality, a rare and daring admission for a leading man of his time. In an era when the film world clung tightly to its conservative image, his words broke barriers and stirred long overdue conversations about identity and sexuality. Brando never sought to be defined by labels, but his openness helped pave the way for others to live and love more freely. Beyond the screen, Brando was equally uncompromising. He threw his weight behind causes he believed in, from civil rights to Native American advocacy, using his fame to shine a light on injustice. His convictions weren't for show, They were woven into the fabric of his life. Today, Marlon Brando is remembered not only for the unforgettable characters he brought to life, but for the fearless way he lived it, authentic, unapologetic, and unwilling to be anything but himself. For those who lived through Hollywood's golden age, his story remains a testament to truth, individuality, and the courage it takes to break the mold. Thank you for watching Exposed Hollywood. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the stories behind the legends. See you in the next one.